Welcome, guys, to Kicking Ball FC. It's been a long time since we've been together. Let me tell you, it's finally great to actually come back from a long hiatus. I'm so sorry that I haven't been able to keep up with the USMNT. Lots of things happening in my personal life, but hopefully now things are actually working out in a way. But I'm going to be focusing more and more on USMNT in the following weeks that are going too close to Qatar 2022. All right. So we already know about the roster. The roster, we're just going to go through it a little bit further to see what is going to be kind of the look of the goalkeepers and the defenders, right? So over last week, we kind of got an idea of, what are the main people that are going to be in Greg Berhalter's roster. He did say in an interview that he had about 85% already known what his full roster will be. And it's just that final 15% that he needs to figure out right now. So we're going to go to basically see, what exactly each position is and how they stack up, and if it's actually going to be in the final roster. We're going to be discussing about that. All right. So the first thing that we're going to look at are the goalkeeper position. So the goalkeepers as that follows. We have Ethan Horvath, Matt Turner, and Sean Johnson. You notice that there isn't any Zach Steffen because he's out injured, unfortunately. But even if Zach Steffen was healthy, I don't think he is the right, uh, you know, I'm not convinced about Zach Steffen, right? I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced just for the fact that he's just been making a lot of mistakes. He hasn't been playing for the first team for Man City. And even playing in the championship, he has been making lots and lots of errors that you kind of have to worry about that. You kind of have to be concerned about. I don't think there has ever been a moment where the USMNT has a goalkeeper problem. You have to go all the way back, probably maybe to the 1990 World Cup, where we had a young Tony Meola trying to get his wings across. But even then, we always had good goalkeepers. We had, Tony Meola. We had Casey Keller. We had Brad Friedel, that epic Brad Friedel that was in 2002, right, in the World Cup. Amazing goalkeeper at the time. In 2006, it was Casey Keller at the same time. And we had a young Tim Howard that was going to be the second goalkeeper coming up, but never had the opportunity. And then we go to 2010, where Tim Howard was phenomenal, but he did make a couple of mistakes. And then what can we say about our Secretary of Defense, Tim Howard, in Brazil of 2014, right? I think this is the first time in a long time that I remember the USMNT that has a goalkeeper problem in which we don't know who the first goalkeeper is going to be. We don't know. Berhalter wants to be loyal to Zach Steffen because of his Columbus Crew days, but again, what's to say that he is going to, I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking about and what he's going forward on that, because he has just a system that he wants to play, right? So even Horvath and Luton, he's actually been doing pretty good. All right, I don't think I have seen him underperform at all. I think he's been doing really, really well, right? I think that Matt Turner, he's been playing. He did play a Europa League, game in a while ago, in which, granted, he did let a penalty kick inside, but he did a couple of good saves. But he's still the second keeper. But I think if ever the Arsenal keeper does get injured, I think Matt Turner does go in. He's a shot stopper. I don't care if he can't play out of the back. If you're a shot stopper, you're a good goalkeeper. And Sean Johnson in NYCFC, I just don't know if I'm convinced about that guy. I don't know. I don't think I am convinced. How about you guys? Are you guys convinced about that? I'm not too sure about that. But, if I had to pick any of these keepers, even if Zach Steffen was in here, I still would want to. It's a battle between Matt Turner and Ethan Horvath. Just for the case that Matt Turner, he knows the system that Greg Berhalter plays in. He did play most of the World Cup qualifiers. And Ethan Horvath, you can't forget about his awesome penalty saves in the Nations League final against Mexico, against El Tri. So I'm not worried if he would pick any of them. I think those are going to be the three keepers going forward. It's going to be Zach Steffen, Matt Turner, and Ethan Horvath. I just think that's just going to be it. I don't think I see Sean Johnson going in. I've seen too many mistakes in an MLS level to let him get in. But we'll see what happens. So let's go on to the defenders. All right. So there's an updated list. We had 2 injuries. We had CCV, Cameron Carter-Vickers, that was out injured from Celtic, and Chris Richards, that was a very much surprise. We didn't think he was injured. And both of those players were replaced by Mark McKenzie and Eric Palmer Brown, or EPB, right? So, to go forward, I think we're going to go look at, the fullbacks. Who are going to be our fullbacks right now, right? So we're going to be going on this, journey on to see how they stack up, right? So I think it's good. I think that fullbacks could have been better if we didn't have those injuries, but here we are. So the fullbacks is as follows. We have Mark McKenzie. We got EPB, Aaron Long, Walker Zimmerman, and Sam Vines. Those are the ones that could go back to a fullback, right? So, in my opinion, I'm not convinced with Aaron Long. Let's just get that out of the way. Aaron Long just does not convince me whatsoever. I don't know. I just don't think he is a good defender. And you can tell by even with his New York Red Bulls, he's just been making too many mistakes. He's been ever since that injury he had last year, he just hasn't been the same player. And I have to admit, he was a good defender before the injury happened. But Berhalter is still gonna have him in the roster. I just have a feeling. Walker Zimmerman, you can also make a case about him. He does give you good aerial power just because of how tall he is, and he can make those runs into the box anytime you have a corner kick or a free kick to make it chaotic with the opposing team. But he's also been having a couple of bad games as well that hasn't been too convincing, right? Sam Vines, he's actually been very consistent. I think he's not too bad. I think Sam Vines is a very interesting player that's playing in Europe pretty well in the Belgium league, right? I think I still need to see more of him in the national team level to kind of get a better idea of what's going on. Mark McKenzie has been a beast of a center back in the Belgium league, especially for his team. Mark McKenzie in Genk, is on second, I believe, of the table, and he has been named one of the defenders of the weeks from the past. And you can tell that he's improved his game so much ever since the Nations League. I think the Nations League, you saw Mark McKenzie as very raw, as a very raw type of talent. And I think being in Belgium kind of groomed him to be a more solid defender all the way around. So I would not have any problem having Mark McKenzie as going in the center back. Another one is Eric Palmer Brown, or EPB, who that plays in Europe as well. He's been doing really good as well. He's been getting a lot of mentions on Team of the Week, Defender of the Week. So I wouldn't mind that. I think it's not too bad. I think I like that. I like what is going on with the guy, right? So those are going to be the center backs right there, right? So now we're gonna go on. I know I just said that was the fullback, but my mistake. Those were the center backs, but let's go back to fullback right here. I know I did the mistake. Oh my gosh, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. So those were the center backs. So now let's talk about the fullbacks, right? So the fullbacks is as follows: is Reggie Cannon, Serginho Dest, Joe Scally, and DeAndre Yedlin. All right, so Reggie Cannon, in the Portuguese league, he's been up and down a little way, but he's a guy that, if push comes to shove, he will give you something. All right, he has matured as a player. I just wish he played a little bit more consistently in the Portuguese league. Serginho Dest, he made that move from Barcelona to AC Milan, which I have to say, thank you, Serginho Dest, for coming into reason to just get your head out of that Barcelona bubble that was just very toxic. Because every single week we've been seeing over and over again how Xavi has just been really wishy-washy with Serginho Dest. At one moment he says, "Oh, I believe in Dest. He's going to be in my future plans." And another week he says, "Well, Serginho Dest is not in my plans." And it was going back and forth. And then it wasn't clear until the beginning of the season, in which you saw that Xavi was just not giving the confidence for Serginho Dest, right? And it wasn't until we saw more and more of the interviews where we began to see a problem with Serginho Dest. He even wasn't in the bench, right? He was actually practicing in a parking lot while Barcelona was playing a game. And he was so motivated to try to get into Xavi's favor, but it was just not working whatsoever. So again, I think Serginho Dest did himself a good service of just getting out of that situation, getting the loan move with an option to buy to AC Milan. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity for Serginho Dest to grow as a defender, because in the Italian league, you are going to be groomed to be a defender, because that's what the Italian league is known for grooming great defenders, for kind of pushing the envelope and making sure that the small things are actually getting kind of improved, groomed, and sharpened as a defender, because those are one of the things that Serginho Dest did lack a lot of. He was more of a winger in my position, but I think that he is actually getting better and better. He's going to get better coaching for AC Milan. And yes, he did have that hiccup of, having a penalty drawn against him last game he played. It wasn't the best cameo to start your Serie A, but he did play a little bit in Champions League, so it wasn't too bad. I think we just have to be patient with Dest. I think he's trying to adjust into a new league, kind of like I think the trainers are going to work with him, and I think by the time the World Cup starts, I think you're going to see a more motivated, more sassy Serginho Dest. So that is what I think about Serginho Dest. Now, next guy that we're going to talk about is DeAndre Yedlin. So DeAndre Yedlin, Inter Miami, he did make a good assist for Higuain in the very last fixture against DC United. If you haven't seen the highlights, I suggest that you do. Very, very good. We know what DeAndre Yedlin can bring into the table. He was one of those defenders, if you remember, in 2014, in which, a lot of people were questioning his presence because he didn't spend time with this team. He did make a very good U20th World Cup appearance, and Jurgen Klinsmann saw something in him. Greg Berhalter still sees value in him, even though he's slowed down a little bit, but he does carry some pace in him. So I think, he is what he is, right? You're not going to change, DeAndre Yedlin of where he is in Inter Miami. The next guy, the one that everyone, even the Borussia Mönchengladbach, I'm probably saying it wrong. He is Joe Scally. Joe Scally is a guy that needs to be in this roster, and he should have been incorporated much earlier, as early as the Mexico game, I have to say, even in the Jamaica game away for the United States. I just think that, Joe Scally, his ceiling is high right now, and he is one of the best defenders, young defenders under 20, that is playing in the Bundesliga constantly and getting better. He even shut down Bayern Munich at one time, and even the Bundesliga and his club is just clamoring, saying, "Come on, Greg, throw us a bone out there." And he is the real deal. I think Joe Scally, he could play as a left back. He can play as a right back. I think, anytime you need him, I think he's good. And he's sharpening his defense, and he can go forward as well. So I'm expecting big things about Joe Scally, and I do hope that Greg utilizes him. I hope he doesn't waste time on DeAndre Yedlin and, on Reggie Canning. We already seen what they can do. I want to see what Joe Scally can do against World Cup opponents, against these teams that are already going to be World Cup, competition that could possibly be facing the United States in the round of 16, or even, not round 16, maybe quarterfinals or semifinals, but you can hope to dream. So that is the list. That's the list of the defenders. We're going to go back. We got Reggie Cannon. We got Mark McKenzie. We got, Serginho Dest. We have Aaron Long. We have EPB. We got Joe Scally. We have Sam Vines. We have DeAndre Yedlin. And we have Walker Zimmerman, right? So now we're going to go to the midfield. So the midfield is going to be very interesting, to say the least. So the midfield are going to be divided into two areas: defensive mid and attacking mid as well, right? So even we're going to see the defensive mid. All right. So the defensive mid, right? What we're going to see right here is kind of a combination. Let me just give me a sec to get this out of the way. All right. So for defensive midfielders, we got Kellen Acosta and we got Tyler Adams. So we already know that Tyler Adams is going to be the one that's going to be starting. But in case if Tyler Adams needs to, get out, of tired legs, Kellen Acosta can assume that position, right? Those are the only two ones that I can see that are defensive mids, right? So Kellen Acosta, he's been doing really well with LAFC, right? There has been moments where he hasn't been so good, but overall, he's been okay. I think he's a guy that can run. He is a guy that will not stop running. I just have a feeling that, that he is the guy. He is the guy that you're not gonna have any problems whatsoever. And in case if push comes to shove, you are gonna get, that. You're gonna get that defensive, posture in a way. The next guy, Tyler Adams. Tyler Adams has been solid with Leeds. He has been a fan favorite for Leeds. He has been one of the players that have been covering most space than any other Premier player out there. And Leeds must be happy to have this guy. He is a beast of a guy. Let me tell you. So, the next thing we're going to look at are the attacking midfielders. All right. So the attacking midfielders will be Luca De La Torre, Weston McKennie, Johnny Cardoso, and Malik Tillman. So those are going to be the guys that are going to move forward. So Luca de la Torre, he moved recently to Spain for the La Liga for Celta Vigo. He hasn't been playing much, but he does offer a lot. He is very good at the ball. He is not afraid to take on people, and he knows how to squeeze the ball in those tight spaces. I have every right to believe that he is going to go to Qatar. Luca de la Torre. The most shocking thing for me that I totally blew my mind is that he doesn't know Spanish, even though his name is Luca de la Torre. Yet he doesn't know Spanish. Go figure. But he's learning Spanish lessons with the team. But he's doing well. He's doing well for himself. I think I expect big things from him. And I think if he doesn't end up well with Celta Vigo, he can always go to the Premier League. He can always go to the Dutch League. I think the Dutch League is where he actually had his finesse most demonstrated. Weston McKennie and Juventus. Besides the really weird year of Juventus, because Juventus has not been doing really well. They haven't had a good stretch of games. Weston McKennie has been the bright spot. He started a little flat, but he's actually gotten sharper, and he should have actually had 2 assists at the last game. I think the players really missed that opportunity. I think Weston McKennie is not that bad. I think if he gets getting better, if he gets start to see his I would say his groove back, he is a menace. Let me tell you, because I always remember how well he did against Mexico. Just an absolute aerial, danger for the opponent. The next one is Johnny Cardoso. So Johnny Cardoso is a very interesting one because he's been with the team, but not as much as you would love him to. And he is a good player playing in Brazil, in the Brazilian league. I think that he could surprise people in case if there are some, some injuries, and there are always going to be some injuries with the World Cup. You're not going to have everyone healthy. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Just an example, for Marco Reus, he actually got really injured in Dortmund, and there is a little bit of fear that he's going to miss another international tournament with Germany. So I think what we're going to do is pray to the soccer gods or any soccer spirituals that there is no injury. Please. We've never had a full strength US team. Let me tell you, if there's ever a time for a full strength US team, this is the moment right now for this World Cup to make us believe, and to make us believe big, especially after this World Cup, of what could be a renaissance in the 2026, right? So, but going back to Johnny Cardoso, right? Playing with the Brazilian league, with Internacional, he is really good on the way he plays, and he is good as a midfielder, man. Like, you're not gonna have any problems with this guy, and I would love to see him at least get a couple of minutes in these friendlies. I think he'll be pretty good. Mark Tillman, that plays with Rangers, he's been a revelation. So if you thought that Weston McKennie is good as an aerial threat, Malik Tillman is just another level as well, because he has scored big goals for Rangers, especially qualifying them to the UEFA Champions League, just the way he did. And then he could jump. If he wasn't a soccer player, I think he would be a basketball player. Is just no question about it, right? So those are the attacking midfielders. So that is pretty awesome. So now we're gonna look at wingers. All right. So the wingers, we got a couple of few of them. We got Brendan Aronson, which I don't think he's a winger. I think he's better playing centrally, right? He plays for Leeds United. If there's a player that his stock is high, it is Brendan Aronson. He is he is just amazing. He is just awesome the way he plays. So Brendan Aronson, he has become easily a fan favorite for Leeds United. Another winger that is Jordan Morris, and I'm not convinced about Jordan Morris. I think Jordan Morris, he's missed a step ever since the injury. I think I don't know. I feel like he will be wasting a position with him in the World Cup, but Greg sees something in him. I don't know what it is. I frankly don't care what it is, but I don't know. I don't know what he has in him. Another winger, is Gio Reyna, that could possibly play as winger, but I see him more as centrally. And Gio Reyna, if he is healthy, if he's fit, he is a difference maker. I think he has a higher ceiling than Pulisic. So if you thought Pulisic is good, Gio Reyna could move that level even higher as well. Christian Pulisic is another winger that you could also give him there. You know what he can do. The Chelsea situation, we already know, is a lot of drama going there. The less I say about it, the better. All right, but here we go, right? And then Paul Areola, I don't consider him as a winger, but somehow Greg sees him as that. I don't know. It's really, really weird just seeing that, going forward. And last but not least, the striker position. The striker position, we got 3 strikers. We got Jesus Ferreira from FC Dallas. We have Ricardo Pepi, who is playing his game in Holland right now. He's on a loan. And then Josh Sargent, the return of the Ginger Ninja, right? So this one, this selection is a little bit confusing to me, right? I get what Ricardo Pepi did before during the World Cup qualifiers, but for me, I don't know if giving him a second chance is the right thing. I just think that he moved to the Bundesliga just way too soon. I think he should have just stayed in FC Dallas, because if he would have stayed in FC Dallas, I guarantee you that his spot in the World Cup squad would have been already assured already, right? But again, the decisions that you make will affect the outcome right there. So let's go down the list. So Jesus Ferreira has been going one of the best forms in his life in the MLS. He's already tied, Dallas single, goal scoring record in history already, the most goals in a season. He has been named the best U22, player in MLS, and he's a guy that Greg believes at the end, right? Let's go next to Ricardo Pepi. So Ricardo Pepi was a head scratcher because everybody was shocked that he was actually selected instead of Jordan Pefok, because Jordan Pefok has been playing really good minutes for the Bundesliga for Union Berlin, already having 3 goals and 5 assists. But I don't know. But Greg, in his words, he says that he's already know everything that he has to know with Jordan Pefok, right? So you can interpret it in many ways. You can interpret it in a way that says maybe Jordan Pefok already has a spot in Qatar, or maybe this is an opportunity for Ricardo Pepi to show his worth, to see if he, gives them, a position there. Because in my opinion, this is just me talking, Josh Sargent could play as a striker and as a winger. So theoretically, if you were to drop one of the names, if you were to drop Jordan Morris or Paul Areola, you can just put in, slide in Josh Sargent as a winger, and you could put even Ricardo Pepi or Jesus Ferreira as a striker, right? I think it'd be perfect right there. But I don't think that Greg is going to do that, which, in my opinion, this is what I would do. And then you would bring 4 strikers. My 4 strikers if I was Greg, I would bring 4 strikers. You have a striker that can play as a winger, and you have another striker that can play as a number 10, right? Which is Jesus Ferreira, right? So you need flexibility a lot with these players, and if some players can bring you flexibility, those are an asset to the team. So Ricardo Pepi did score a goal last week, and I think maybe that was justification of bringing him in, saying that, you know, if you play him in a league that is around his level and that gets decent service, and I said that because I still believe that Augsburg got a lucky win against Bayern Munich. Tell me that I'm wrong. All the hate comments, you can tell me all you want, but it was a lucky win. You are lucky that Bayern Munich didn't tie the game, right? But again, if you can't get service, how are you going to score, right? You know, you could try, and it's hard when you don't, you know, they don't trust you. The players right there in Augsburg didn't trust Ricardo Pepi whatsoever, did not pass the ball to him whatsoever. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But luckily, in the new club, the Dutch club that he's playing in, they trust him, and that's great. That's great, and that would be a wonderful story if he gets into Qatar, right? I hope that Ricardo Pepi goes into Qatar, not because as a promise because of what he did in the past, but because he deserves it. So hopefully Ricardo Pepi goes back to his club and starts scoring some goals every week and week out. Last but not least, Josh Sargent. Oh, Josh Sargent. Everyone, look, I'll be honest. All right. I was kind of in the back end of thinking that Josh Sargent wasn't going to make it, that he was kind of, maybe this was not the opportunity for him for this World Cup, but he proved the doubters wrong, man. And I did believe of him a little bit. Okay. I'm not going to lie and say I believed him from the beginning, but I did have an ounce of hope that he was going to make things happen, that he was going to, you know, get his groove back, get scoring. And this is what happens when you play players in their natural positions. Coaches all around the world, why are you guys being so cute? Why do you think that you're going to make a striker play as a winger? What's the matter with you? Right? That makes no sense. It makes no sense. And then when you play Josh Sargent as his natural position as a striker, you get the dividends. And he has been scoring big goals for Norwich City, and hopefully they can get back to the Premier League thanks to that mechanism right there. So that itself is, you know, the entire roster of, you know, the USMNT, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you exactly who do I think could be in the starting 11. All right. So I'm trying to see if I could show you starting 11 right now. Hopefully I can get that right now because I want to show it to you guys. I really, really do. If I can, because it's hard, especially when trying to like show it to you guys. But let's see. Window. So give me 1 sec, guys. I'm trying to see if I can get that that slide ready for you guys, because we need to see it, and you guys need to see it as possible as you can, right? I wish you could see it. Oh man. But and we're also going to be looking at the Japan roster as well, because we already know the roster for that. It's going to be happening this Friday. I did say that I'm kind of thinking of watching that game right before I go to work, and I think it feels like it's going to happen. I just have a feeling that it's going to do. Let's see. No slides. All right. So it's not letting me go on, but I'm going to get it as soon as I can. But to kind of show you, you know, the time that we're going to have to watch the game for Japan versus the United States, right? What I have to tell you is that it's going to be early for the West Coast. All right, it's going to be at 5:30 in the morning, give or take 5:30 in the morning. So if you guys can wake up early, all right, this is going to be the game that you guys should watch, because man, oh man, why early? But then again, it's not too bad in a way, because if you think about it, you know, you get to, like, you know, drink your morning coffee, watch some soccer, and then, you know, you don't have to worry about, you know, missing the game, because you're basically going to watch it. You know, just drink a little bit of coffee after the game and then you'll be fine for work. You know, that's just me talking. But yeah, I think it's not too bad. So I'm going to show you exactly, you know, where can you watch it, what's channel that you can watch it, so that way you guys are ready for that, right? So here it is. It's the international friendly information. So this Friday, it is going to be Japan versus the United States at 8:28 a.m. Eastern time, which is 5:28 Pacific time. And then on Tuesday, September 27th, it's going to be Saudi Arabia versus the United States at 2 p.m. Eastern time, which would basically mean 11 a.m. Pacific time, which is actually not bad. That means you can watch the game during lunchtime. For those of you that are in the, you know, West Coast, you guys are in the East Coast, I think that could be maybe like an early dinner or something, right? So that's not too bad for you guys. But again, it's not too bad. I think for a while, I think so what you need to do is just remember that you just have to, you know, you just have to. So I would say that get your coffee, put your alarm, and watch some good soccer. And then also watch this. I'm actually thinking of making the live stream. I think it's going to happen. I have no problem thinking that it's going to happen, right? So what I will say is that I'm confident that the United States, if they play their best, if Greg doesn't pull a Greg on us, I think that we have a fighting chance right here. I think that we have a significant chance in which we could win. We can win convincingly. Now, will it be easy? Not so much, because we still have a lot of kinks to figure out, right? We have a lot of kinks to figure out. So I think, again, you know, just bear with me here, right? So finally I got this. So I got the actual starting 11 that I'm going to show you right now. Thank goodness, because I was actually getting worried a little bit. So let's see. So let me delete this, and then I'm going to post this here so that you guys could see the starting 11, and you'll see it in my starting 11 right here, right? So took a while to get that. Sorry about that. I'm trying to make sure to see how it looks. All right, so let's see. So give me 1 sec, guys. I'm just gonna switch this right here. So I'll share the screen, Chrome, and then here we go. There we go. Now you guys could see my starting 11 right then and there. So this is going to be my starting 11 if I was the coach. And with the players that I have right now, this is the starting 11 that I would have. So it would be Matt Turner as the goalkeeper. You got Serginho Dest and Joe Scally as the fullbacks. You have McKenzie and EPB as the center back. You have Adams as the defensive midfielder. Then you have the combination of Christian Pulisic, Luca De La Torre, uh, Meston McKennie, Aronson, and then you have Sargent as the front runner right then and there, right? That is my starting 11 at the moment, okay? What did you think about my starting 11? I hope you guys can comment below and let me know what you think. Is it right on? Would you switch it up a bit? Or are you not feeling that starting 11? All right, let me know. Let me know in the comments, right? But that's basically what I would say. That would be the starting 11 in my eyes, right then and there, right? So again, that is who I think could possibly, play against Japan. And for me, it's very simple. You gotta put the players that is hot right now, that is playing in Europe. You are in the European continent. Give the European players a chance to prove themselves, and then as the game goes by, then you can kind of switch it up a bit, put your MLS guys, see how they stack up, and go from there, right? So that's my opinion. That's just the way I see things right now. So yeah, that's just the way it is. And it looks good. For me, it's good because Sargent could play in that Greg Berhalter system in which the striker can come back as a winger or as a second striker in case it's necessary. So it looks, for me, that's just the way it looks good. I just think it looks just perfect, that starting 11 for me. So again, what do you guys think? What did you guys think of my starting 11? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Would you change something about it if you don't like it? Write your comments below. All right. So that is going to be the end of the discussion and how I would start off against Japan as well. Japan has the roster right now. If you want to see the roster, I'll show you right now. So the Japanese roster, I'll show you right now because someone actually gave me full name and the teams that they play. So this is going to be the full Japan roster right now. So you got 4 goalkeepers, believe it or not, that 2 of them play, one in France, one in Belgium, and then the other 2 in Japan. The defenders, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 from Japan. You got one that plays in Arsenal, another one plays in Schalke, the other one plays in Grasshopper Zurich, another plays in Stuttgart, and the other one plays in Huddersfield. And then for the midfield, you only have 1 player that plays in Japan. The rest plays in Europe. You got 1 in Sporting SP, you got 1 in Stuttgart, you got 1 in Dusseldorf, 1 plays in Spain, another one plays in Union Berlin, Celtic FC, Freiburg, Reims, Eintracht, Monaco, Real Sociedad, and another one I think in the 2nd division as well. And then the forwards are 1 in Celtic, 1 in Belgium, another one in Celtic, and then the last one in Japan. So I think they're also kind of, it's going to be a tough game against Japan. They're very well organized. It's not going to be easy, but this is a good team to play against, especially when we have to play against, the Asian opponents against, Iran. But I think the closest opponent for Iran will probably be Saudi Arabia when they play with the low block, right? But again, for me, the lineup, this is the lineup that I would say that should start against Japan, right? And going back, it's Turner, Des, McKenzie, EPB, Scally, Adams, McKennie, DLT, Luca De La Torre, Pulisic, and Sargent on the top right there, and Aronson. So that would be for me, right? All right, guys. So that is going to be it for the live stream and for Kicking Balls FC, analyzing the roster and kind of playing around what we would do. For me, I know Greg is probably going to put Aaron Long, Walker Zimmerman, maybe Pariola, and then Jesus Ferreira at the top. And then Joe Scally, probably he's going to put in, Reggie Cannon, right? I just know if I'm in Greg's head, I'm trying to think like I'm Greg, and that just makes my head hurts even more. But that's what it is. That's what it is. So again, guys, thank you so much for joining me in this awesome live stream. And again, if you like the content of this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. And again, what do you think of my possible starting lineup against Japan, right? Give a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or what would you would change in the comment section, right? This is what I think should be the starting 11 against Japan. And you already saw a little bit of what Japan has to offer. They are no joke. They are ruthless, all right? And the last time that the U.S. played Japan was back in 2006, in which the U.S. did win. And Taylor Twelveman actually made a goal right there. Sadly, that goal wasn't enough to get him into the World Cup, which I think he should have been in the World Cup instead of Brian Ching. But that's a whole nother story, right? That's a little bit of the history of the USMNT, right? If I wanted to go deeper. But that is it. That is it, guys. Again, this is where it is. Hopefully, this is the starting 11. I don't hope that it's going to be. Again, we're talking about Greg Berhalter. He likes to do it his own way, the most complicated way sometimes. It's never the easiest way because he just wants to show that he makes sense, right? So there we go. All right, guys. So again, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I hope you guys join me back on Friday. I'm actually going to do a live watch along live stream of the game. For those of you that are in the West Coast, I will start streaming around 5 in the morning. All right, at 5 in the morning, maybe 5:15. I'll probably push it to 5:15, so that gives me some leeway so I can watch the game and get some coffee, get a little bit of cafecito, so that way we can all enjoy the game. All right, and I will get in it because I want to enjoy the game. I want to do it before. I want to have a happy mood before I go to work with a USA win and a convincing win, hopefully, right? And we're gonna know more about ourselves in that game than we realize. All right, guys. Again, this is the final note of the day. I hope you guys stay awesome. I hope you guys are all excited about this Friday. Friday cannot come soon enough, right, for this game. And then after the game is over, we're going to analyze it with another live stream that day. It's going to be probably right after I get back from work because I work all the way until 4. So I probably won't have a stream probably until 5 or 6 o'clock, right? I'll probably push it to 6 just to be safe, right? And then we'll analyze, what went on in that game. And it probably won't be that long. And then if you have any questions, any comments, I'm more than welcome for you guys to point in. All right, guys. So stay awesome. I'll see you soon and take care. All right. Peace out.